Y'all can tell by the jersey. Y'all know what time it is. NFL football is back. Okay. It's week 1 of the NFL season, baby. I've been waiting 4 or 5 months for this. Y'all don't understand. I broke up with my girlfriend for this because I need her to know she's single for now. Do what you want. Do what you have to. And in the theme of week 1 of the NFL being back, we're going to talk about America's team, the gambler, and his Dallas Cowboys. Now, I am not a fan of the Cowboys, as y'all can tell by my jersey. I am a Colts fan. Okay, free AR. Okay, he's my quarterback. But I did want to take a look at that series because, one, I love football. Two, I love a good sports docuseries. You could tell, they took vein from The Last Dance. So if you saw the Chicago Bulls Last Dance series by ESPN, how greatly put together it was, how deep the stories were, this docuseries is essentially that. You know what I'm saying? They're going through the timeline of when Jerry Jones bought the Dallas Cowboys up until present day during their struggles right now, where they haven't, made it back to the Super Bowl in 30 years. The series is really well put together. Let's get that out of the way. It's something that it did take me a couple of days to get through with it because for the most part, I was like, in the beginning, I was like, I really don't care about Jerry Jones' story. Like, give me like the storylines with the players. But as I got through it, you start to, me personally, you start to root for Jerry going forward. And I don't know a lot of people that's going to say that out loud. You know what I'm saying? With this series, you go through when he buys the team from him firing Tom Landry because he wants to start this thing fresh with his guys. When he hires Jimmy Johnson because, he sees something in him and they've known each other literally since they were teenagers playing at the University of Arkansas. And just to see how their relationship deteriorates for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the film, at the end of the series, it finally, they reconcile at the end. It's a lot of stories in this series that they talk about. And I was appreciative of that because I am a 90s baby, but I didn't get to really experience the team of the 90s. I didn't really get to experience, how exciting the Dallas Cowboys was back then because I was only an infant. You know what I'm saying? I was only like 2 years old when they won their first Super Bowl. So I wasn't conscious, if you will, about when things with the Dallas Cowboys was going on. I like how they literally started off from the 80s or the late 70s, early 80s when the Cowboys are like trash to those early years with Troy Aikman and the triplets coming together, building it. They literally built that team from the ground up for them to be what they are. And to see, you know what I'm saying, the longevity of players playing with essentially one team aside from Deion Sanders and aside from Charles Haley that played with the Cowboys literally from when they were drafted till they retired. That's pretty cool because in today's age, you don't see that anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that I appreciated watching this series, like as a sports fan, because in today's NFL, you don't have like those great rivalries anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like watching the 49ers and the Cowboys compete in NFC championships year after year, and they genuinely do not like each other. Like they're out here scuffling and fighting before the game even starts. You don't see that anymore. So like watching that in this series, it made me appreciate like what the sport was before what it is now. Like players today, they grow up together playing the sport, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of friendships there. But in between the lines, you know what I'm saying, back then, yeah, we would go out to the bar, have a drink afterwards. But in between those lines is up. Seeing that, like, I loved seeing that. Like, I wish that our league had that now. Like, but that's another tangent for another day. Back to the series. I don't think that this warranted 8 episodes. I don't think so. 8 episodes at an hour each was crazy to me. It at some points it did feel like I was like just chugging the fuck along. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, what? They really went into every single detail, okay? When it came to this team, how it was built, how it was constructed, how it was ran, you know what I'm saying? They went into every ounce of detail about this team over those essentially 3 decades of it being run since Jerry Jones took it. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. I would say you could have got most of it in 4. If I'm being completely honest. Now, the NFC Championship run episode, that by far is the best episode. But I am also a major sports fan. So me seeing them struggle year after year, but they find, like, you know what I'm saying, finding that aspect of the game, you know what I'm saying, to be motivated to beat somebody as the 49ers. Like, that episode by itself, I was cool with, like, being its own little series. Like, if ESPN did a 30 for 30 on the rivalry between the Cowboys and the 49ers, which I don't think they have yet, I would watch that shit again. Okay? I will watch that shit again, you know. But I do think, for the most part, the docuseries, it is meant for the people to get to know Jerry Jones more as a person, aside from his character on ESPN and on Fox and all that when the Cowboys are on. I do think this is a series that it was meant for you to get to know who Jerry Jones was, and they threw the triplets and the 90s era Cowboys as an undertone, because that's essentially what it felt like most parts of the series, I should say. And there's nothing wrong with that, because, like I said, at the end of the series, I ended up rooting for Jerry Jones. Like, I was actually like, okay, I'm a fan of dude. Like, dude got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, going to, like, pretty much buying the team for pennies in ownership sense to making the Dallas Cowboys one of the most valued teams in the world at $11 billion as of today is insane. And I applaud him for that. You know, he has that go get it attitude. Like, you see that, like, how he took on, like, the league, you know what I'm saying, by getting sponsorships. That was dope. You know, it revolutionized how the league is ran now, where teams have, like, they can get, where teams now have, like, control of their sponsorship brands that they can, you know, make extra money on. So I thought that was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? As far as the series as a whole, it is a good watch if you have the time to sit through 8 hours of that, you know what I'm saying? Learning how the team went from being built with Jerry and Jimmy, or Jimmy and Jerry, however you want to ask them how the team was constructed. That's pretty much how you learn the rift between them, how it happened. But seeing how that team was constructed and ran to the demise of their friendship, when Jerry was like, it's 500 coaches out here that could bring this team to a Super Bowl. So Jerry was like, hey, it is what it is. Bring in Barry Switzer. To seeing how the team essentially crumbled 2 years after Jimmy left. It is a good watch, you know. As far as accolades, I do give America's Team, the Gambler, and his Dallas Cowboys 4 accolades, only because it did feel long and drawn out. Like, that's literally my only gripe. 8 episodes is a little too much for this. You know, I understand, like, episode 1, you give us the backstory on how Jerry Jones got the team. Episodes 2 and 3, boom, boom, boom. This is how the team was constructed. This is where we are, you know what I'm saying? Niners and Cowboys, episode 3. Episode 4, the team is where we are, you know? I think 4 episodes would have been perfect for this. 8 episodes was way too much at an hour long. It was just too much. 8 movies. I got 8 movies for this. You ain't the Bulls. You're the Cowboys. And I'm back to my football mind. You're 30 years in, gang. You still ain't been back, Jerry. Get a GM. They talked about that, too. Like, how Jerry just wants to run the team by himself. That's crazy. That's crazy. Go watch it. I'm about to go get me some nachos and wings, man. This is your friendly neighborhood Blurred Keenan Too Much. And, yo, I'll catch y'all on the next one. I got a game to watch. I'll see y'all later.